In city mode, it feels like a 400 bhp car.
Good point. Good question. No, it does not.
Because I'm assuming these are full power modes with the throttle response is tapered back.
Okay. Great question as well. It does not feel like a 400 bhp car, even in city mode, nor in sport mode, and nor in boost mode, because it's not a 400 bhp car. Because the motors don't work at peak performance parallelly. So you never get 400 bhp at one time. The peak power, and also because of the battery pack is 75 kilowatt hours. So the peak draw that they can get from it to feed these two motors, it would require a bigger battery pack,
Okay.
right? So the actual peak horsepower that you get from this is about 313 horsepower.
You were talking about how you really enjoyed the car and it talks to the values and
Yeah.
of the Tata brand, as it were.
Correct. So when I saw the brochure and you read 240 horsepower from the rear motor, 160 horsepower from the front motor, and you think, man, that's totaling up to 400 horsepower
And electric.
and electric.
That means 500 horsepower at least.
And one of their claims is, that's a good point, because electric horsepower, we'll always say, is like at least 40% more potent than ICE horsepower, because it's all
correct. No, and in fact, you should know that when the challenge of making an electric powertrain is they have to tune it down rather than tune it, as it were, because the motor is able to produce peak torque as soon as you go.
Yeah.
And so if you, let's say, take the software control out of it and say, here's a one-to-one connection, the car would basically be unusable. You get on the throttle, it go to peak torque, and everything is just spinning. You have no control over this process.
So that was a concern, because I think with EVs, which are heavy, and this also, my estimation is, the battery pack weights haven't been given, but this is about 600 or 500 kilograms, depending on battery pack, right? Is 500, 600 kilograms heavier than the diesel. So which means this is near about 2300 kilograms and 2200 kilograms, depending on the variant.
At that weight, we still discuss it in kilograms, and now we're in the tons territory.
Yeah, you could do that as well. Because I was thinking there's 2355 and 22, something like that. And the Harrier diesel is about 1700 something, right? So it's a much heavier car. And that's the constant theme with EVs. They are heavier and they are quicker, which is a crazy combination in terms of managing the performance, making the car clean and safe to drive, right?
Yep.
It is a challenge. While the weight sits low, it is a lot of weight.
Yeah.
So that was a question mark, like, would this feel too much for our roads? And that's what Tata has done. And I think great work there, because they've shown that maturity of saying, let's make this usable irrespective of which mode you're in. So this top spec version gets the three usual modes: eco, city, and sport.
Okay.
But it also has a mode above that called boost. And let's talk about eco, city, and sport. Eco, very clean to drive, easy in the city, enough performance as well. It doesn't feel sluggish or anything like that. City is, of course, that blend of I can do anything. While it's called city, I think you'd be fine on the highway with it as well. It's not like you need to move to sport mode to spend time on the highway. And we did a lot of different scenarios. We did
But
city
in city
traffic.
mode, it feels like a 400 bhp car.
Good point. Good question. No, it does not.
Because I'm assuming these are full power modes with the throttle response is tapered back.
Okay. Great question as well. It does not feel like a 400 bhp car, even in city mode, nor in sport mode, and nor in boost mode, because it's not a 400 bhp car. Because the motors don't work at peak performance parallelly. So you never get 400 bhp at one time. The peak power, and also because of the battery pack is 75 kilowatt hours. So the peak draw that they can get from it to feed these two motors, it would require a bigger battery pack, right? So the actual peak horsepower that you get from this is about 313 horsepower, right?
Which again is electric, so it's not a small amount.
Yeah, and it's more than what the BE6 has. It's more than what the 9E has, and which is what Mahindra's made a big, Tata's spoken a lot about, that this is quicker. So its acceleration 0 to 100 claimed is 6.3, and I think the Mahindras are 6.6 or something in that region. So it's quicker than them also. So when you look at those figures and you sit in the car, you think this is going to be crazy fast, right? But they have tuned it differently, and all the modes are easy to drive. Even when you go to sport mode, you don't think that this is, oh wow, this is crazy quick or something like that. It just feels punchier. It feels more willing. So I automatically thought of it as a good highway mode for when you're traveling with the family and you want to drive quickly, make quick overtakes and stuff. It will be really helpful there. The Harrier EV only starts to feel properly wild in the boost mode.
Okay.
So the boost mode is where you get the full horsepower that you can get from the 313 PS. And interestingly, what we were told by Anand Kulkarni, who heads product development, was that in boost mode, actually, the rear motor can even deliver a little bit more for a short duration.
So the boost mode has a boost mode.
Yeah, the boost mode has. So, which is why initially what I thought of the boost mode was like how Mahindra did the boost mode, where it's a button and you toggle it on and it's available for a few seconds. That's not the case. The boost mode is like, let's say, the Aether's, what is that?
Warp.
Warp mode. So, it's available to you anytime you want, depending on state of charge. Now, my catch for this boost mode was that it's only available between 50 to 100% SOC. So if the battery is between 50 and 100% charge, only then is it available. Under that, it's not available.
And usually this means that the heat control on the battery has a strain point, which in the bottom three modes is not an issue at all. You do whatever you want. Boost mode will generate enough heat for the liquid cooling system to not be able to cool the battery effectively enough for the entire SOC charge. So the assumption is you're coming down from 100 to 50 in boost, you're creating heat in the system. And at 50, the system says between the drop in range that has happened and between how much heat is in the battery right now, this is done. This is even worse on electric two-wheelers, so I'm not even surprised because they don't have the advantage of liquid cooling because they don't want the complication. And air-cooled batteries are just much harder to control.
Correct. And in this, you asked about the horsepower differences across the modes. They are not all the same. So you get peak in boost. Under that in sport, it's slightly lower. What those exact figures are, I'm going to put them up on a table here. Tata did share those details with us. And it's interesting to see how they've worked it out. And I want you to now kind of understand how this car drives in terms of how they've got that maturity of the driving experience. Because it is interesting. Like even in sport mode, when you accelerate, when you say, I want hard acceleration, it starts accelerating. It almost is like, do you really want it? Is the question that you get.
It's a dialogue box.
So
Are you sure about this?
Yeah. So there's that, it allows you to have that second to lift off if you want to, right? If you stay in, if you're still accelerating, then the torque starts coming on strong, right? So they've given you this window of opportunity to correct. So otherwise it would feel really sharp, right? Because it has 500 Newton meters of torque, something like that. So they've given this the latitude that it can be driven conveniently, easily by people who are not so experienced also.
Got it.
And I think that flexibility to build into the car and the way it drives was important. It's the responsible way of doing it, and I'm glad for that.
That is a clip from MotorInc. And what that means is if you'd like to see more of these, you can do two things. One is stay on this channel, subscribe and watch more, or you can come to the main MotorInc channel where you'll find a much longer video that discusses this idea in a lot more detail.